Previously on Quest Friends Hereafter. Vice Principal Seth Keyhole looks to all of the kids that are here in this junkyard mall on a field trip. As you can see, to help these injured mon, we must be less violent than we are used to.
Hello, Hilda. I see you are back at Dueling Club.
Just as a guest. Juniper said she wanted me along.
Hilda's in temporary retirement, but I'm sure she will be back soon.
All right, now children, come around. So our guests are a little bit late.
The group has been invited to specifically where all of the missing Ultramon are.
And with a roar, White Eye's blue dragon, the one that was freed from Oset Scuba's collection, slams on top of Hilda. We're going to do a confrontation. Each of you has a clock. We're going to say that clock fills every time you roll a success or a mixed success. If you roll a failure, it fills someone else's clock. The mon is going to be more of an environmental hazard. We're just going to say, you got in its nest. You can look around and you can see that there are a bunch of things that insinuate like, oh, this thing kind of set up home and may in fact have been preying on the mon that were discarded from their owners after the hype of the Intermortal Necromon Championship, but haven't been able to find their way back to the Afterworlds through a Necromon Oasis. Yeah, I'm just going to say that White Eye's Blue Dragon has been feasting on them, and now its latest snacky snack is Hilda. So I want to know each team here, what are your goals? I feel like your goal here, Grumbo and Elizabeth, is you want to catch this thing.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And then Irene and Hilda, as this giant dragon pounces on Hilda, what is your goal here?
I would love for Hilda not to get eaten.
That's a secondary goal for me.
But it would be cool if we could, cause a Necromon uprising.
We're here to shut down these Necromon hunters.
Yeah.
One way or another.
Yeah, so I'm going to say each of you have a clock of 4 to fill, and I am going to let Grumbo and Elizabeth start first because Hilda was surprise attacked, not by them, but by the monster. So this thing goes down, it screeches, Seth's eyes look like they're going to pop out of his head, and the children just start scattering. Walnut reaches in to grab a card and says, "Now's my chance. I'm gonna finally get an Ultra Necromon. Otakova, go!" No, Walnut, we gotta get going. We gotta get out of here. Where's Juniper? We gotta find her. And Freddy gets Walnut out of there, but it's just dragging Dame.
It's not your time, Walnut. It's ours.
But yeah, this monster is down. It is attacking a child. It is why you are here. Whereas the other mon were very foggy and weak, this one is almost like how a trapped animal gets angrier. It is pulsing with light. This mon is from deeper in the afterworlds. It is stronger than your average mon. It has power.
I have an idea, Elizabeth, of a thing that we might have previously have done as a combo or something where if you step into the net and then I pull it like this, then you can launch into the air.
That sounds amazing. Well, do we have a name for this maneuver? We gotta have a good name for the maneuver. The Grumbo special? I don't know.
Yeah.
Would anything you do be named after Grumbo though?
Oh, fair point.
Flying Thorn Strike.
Frick yeah, Grumbo, this is why I keep you around.
It was either Gleep George or HR that definitely came up with that name.
It was Gleep George who came up with it, but we didn't listen until HR repeated it.
Gleep George is like, oh, the Flying Thorn Strike, that's a good name. HR, the Flying Thorn Strike is a good name. And then Elizabeth says, great idea, Grumbo. Anyways, the Flying Thorn Strike. You are going to be helping Elizabeth, so you can either give her a +1 on her roll, or the effect is going to be bigger.
Ooh, which one do you want?
Why don't you give me the +1 and then I'll just use my my doubling to double it anyway?
That works.
And then what are you going to do as you get launched towards this thing, Elizabeth?
Boy, I should have planned that in advance too. Well, I'm going to use magic at it, obviously. I'm going to pull another card out of my my inner pocket, my little Rattlecap card, whose element is bone. And I'm going to attempt to basically, from an aerial position, hurl bone shards down at this fella.
Okay, roll the bone this dragon. That's going to be fierce.
You want to bone this dragon?
It's going to be a fierce and then a +1 on top of that.
Fierce +1, it's going to be, whatever happens, it's going to be twice as much.
Okay.
5, 6, 7 plus 4 is 11.
Jesus Christ. So...
Can you fail?
No, I can't.
So, you have a choice. You can either raise your clock by 2 or do it by 1 and inflict an effect, or you can do 2 effects, I suppose.
I mean, I feel like the smart thing to do would be to just double the clock, so obviously I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do the fun thing, which is advance the clock by 1 and definitely create an effect. And I think I know exactly what this effect is. In addition to just generally being pelted with bones, because I'm so good at boning dragons.
Amen.
I have effectively erected a bit of a bone cage around it.
Okay.
I want to say it's pinned in place, but I don't think I have, like, speared it, because that would be slightly gross, even for me. So it's encased in bone.
Yeah, instead there's just a rock-hard bone cage. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely trying to get out, so it is a bit distracted from you, Hilda. But it's still pins you down.
Hilda wants to reach out to this creature's hearts. Hand on snoot, how to train your dragon moments, like bond with this necromon.
Do you have something that lets you do that?
I mean, I don't have anything that says I can't do that either.
Because I actually can kind of do that.
Oh, well, in that case, I will leave it to you.
What's your compatibility score with each other?
+2 on my end.
+1 on my end.
Since it's Emily's move, Hilda, you get to choose. Are you going to give a +1 to Irene, or are you going to double the effect of what she does?
Let's double down and say I double the effect of whatever happens next.
Okay.
Depending on how this roll goes, my thought is that Hilda is trying to do this, and then just Irene walks up next to her and does the thing for real.
I do like that.
Yeah, and it could be in some ways almost both of you together. Like, Hilda gets up, tries to gently calm this thing down, and that means, Irene, you're going to try to capture this mon with heart.
Are you sure?
I am sure. Blame Tom, that's what he wanted to do.
I would like to spend an AP to roll with advantage.
Okay.
Because I am afraid.
Yeah, so Hilda gets up, Irene gets up to Walnut, like, their eyes widen as they're being dragged away by Freddy, and they're seeing this power of friendship moment.
Poor Walnut. 11.
Okay, what happens on an 11?
You catch the Necromon, set up the Necromon the same way you would any other Necromon. But I don't want to, like, imprison this Necromon in a card.
We'll just say you bond with it.
Yeah, we befriend the Necromon.
You reach out to it, and it snarls a bit at Hilda, and then makes kind of pained sounds. But then when both of you approach it gently, it remembers those hands. It remembers those hands when they were pressing the escape button that got it freed from Oset Scuba's lair. So I'll say your clock fills by 1, but the dragon is also absolutely on your side and can be used in the future. And I'll just say by both of you. I'll let both of you use it. So you formed like a shared link with this thing. It's not like a Necromon style soul bond. You've made a bro bond. You're like, fuck yeah, if we're around, the other person is a bro, which means the other people aren't bros. And the dragon screams at you, Elizabeth and Grumbo.
Rats.
No, it's a dragon.
Hey, Grumbo, I feel like we should hit this child.
I'm getting the same feeling. Because there was a pretty sick dragon we could have just really added to this new collection, and that's Now they've got some sort of swole bro bond with the...
I know you said not to interrupt when you're doing things, but I have to say, I know I'm not head of HR, but from what I understand, you probably shouldn't hit children.
We probably shouldn't hit children with the cameras running, Gleep George.
There we go.
Unfortunately, I must agree with Gleep George in this instance. I will have to write one infraction.
Do you want me to turn off the camera, or...
Yes, Gleep George.
Because you said to keep it running all the time.
I like that the infraction isn't that they're attacking children. It's not on them, it's on Gleep George for keeping the camera running.
Gleep George solemnly will switch the camera off.
Alright, and you're free to attack some fucking kids. What's your plan?
My impulse after getting stymied like this is to just net the kids as though they are mom.
I love this impulse.
Like, they're roughly the right size for the things that go in my net.
You can attempt to net one of them.
But if they double the effect, double the kids in the net.
I could do go big or go home for this.
Yeah.
So for netting children, is that fierce?
It is, but I believe this is our first PC roll against another PC, at least after I've made a couple of changes to the mechanics. So we handle PC versus PC rolls in two different ways. If you were both trying to do something, you'd each roll, and the higher roll would be the winner, but would still take the effects of a full success, mixed success, or failure, depending on how they roll. However, since you're trying to do something to another PC, in this case, net some kids, we're going to treat them like monsters. And so you're gonna roll against their related stat for your move. Anyway, for netting kids, that would be fierce, that would be take a swing. And if I remember correctly, Tom, Hilda rolls with heart for take a swing, right?
That's correct, yes.
So what is Hilda's heart?
+3.
What's Irene's fierce?
3.
Okay, so you're gonna take a -3 to this roll, because I was gonna do the average of their two stats.
Okay. And because it's with my net, I can roll with advantage, and I'm adding fierce anyway?
Yes, but your fierce is 3.
So it's canceled out.
It's canceled out.
Okay, so I got a 5.
With advantage?
With advantage, and that means that per this move, I'm going home.
Oh no. Grumbo, you sweet, beautiful failure.
So Hilda and Irene, describe how you not only dodge this net, but then either fill up your clock by 2 or fill it up by 1 and take an effect.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Would it upset you, Tom, if it wasn't anything to do with us and it was actually just Gleep George accidentally tripping her?
Honestly, I would love that. I would adore it if it was Gleep George.
Gleep George turning off the camera and fidgeting with the tripod.
Oh my god, yes, I'm swinging the net back and it gets caught on tripod legs.
I have an addition to that with HR because it was misunderstood before. When HR said, no, they are correct, I will have to give you an infraction for this, they were indeed siding with Gleep George. Giving the talent an infraction for attacking children.
The betrayal!
And he just turns the completed form from around the...
If there were a heart in my chest, you would have broken it, HR.
I'm afraid my one true master is professional integrity.
All right, so Hilda and Irene, do you want to fill up your clock by 2 or do you want to do 1 and take an effect?
I want to do 2, I think.
Okay.
It's not as fun, I will say, but I'm just so afraid. Like, you're more human now that you've actually managed to fail a single roll. But before that, I was like, yes, let's take any advantage we can have.
It is very scary to be like, every single time they could just double up on us.
All right, so that's a clock 3 out of 4 for shutting them down, and then a 1 out of 4 for catching this mon.
Is it, whose turn is it?
Who's up?
Oh shit, wait, right, it's Hilda and Irene.
Oh!
I forgot, yeah, your clock filled on their failure.
It's true.
I feel kind of bad taking 2
That might
then.
be 2. Let's just take 1.
Let's do 1 and an effect.
Maybe the effect is the beast is out. Yes.
The beast is out.
Yeah, that's a solid.
The bone cage is destroyed.
My bone cage!
We broke your boner.
Anyway, I admit I am torn between unleashing the beast and trying to inspire the remaining kids / Necromon lurking around here to just band together and start, like, biting ankles.
Oh yeah, could we get the Necromon Dueling Club to Necromon duel these hunters?
Oh no, don't send a bunch of Necromon near me, the person who can suck elements out of Necromon. No, don't, heavens, oh gosh, oh.
All right, who wants to try to inspire the children?
I do.
All right, Hilda, with your inability in public speaking.
Oh no.
The thing I always forget to make you do when Hilda public speaks a lot.
No, that's fair. That is consistently forgotten, and it's time for me to pay the piper for this one. Oh, right, I actually have to come up with Sorry, I just saw my roll. All right. Hilda's gonna call out, initially by name to people she knows. Walnut, Freddy, everybody. When you joined this dueling club, you wanted to be the very best. The best you could possibly be.
I'm a member of the sockball club. I'm just here as a visitor.
But you can still make a difference too.
I can?
What will there be to watch if adults like these run our worlds? How can we say that we're the very best if we can't protect Necromon that people literally threw away like garbage in this mall adjacent to a junkyard?
I mean, that one is trash element, but...
These are creatures who deserve to be cared for and nurtured. We have all cared for our Necromon. We have built bonds. We didn't go out there and just snag them with nets and then use them for everything they've got. We trained with them. We lived alongside them. And now we're gonna show these adults what we can do. I rolled 2 6s and a 5.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
That's incredible.
My, how the tables turn.
All children are now holding spears.
Walnut is inspired and throws the first avocado. As a tiny little avocado with little stick arms and googly eyes jumps on you and starts just batting you at the face. But then after that, it is a swarm of Necromon. One kid throws out a rat with a eye patch and a gun. Grumbo, you get licked by a dusty cloud with 2 eyes and a big tongue.
Oh.
And you jump out of the way as a sturgeon falls right where you were going to fall, and little like blood spurts start falling out, and the children are gaining on you. The confrontation is lost. You're not catching this mon. What is your plan?
I think my immediate move is to, after I think maybe like thrashing in some blood and then getting some nasty dust stuck to me, sort of like a Trashmon tar and feathering, right? Like I'm just like covered in gunk now. I think I'm going to try and like get myself free, try to just like scramble back into a 3-point stance, just waiting for Elizabeth to tell me what the next move is, because of course this cannot stand.
This cannot stand. I feel like we are going to need to make a bit of a tactical retreat on this one. Friend running the game. I have a designated driver skill, which means I can spend an AP to have my means of transportation appear at a critical moment. Does that mean that my van can just drive through the wall now?
It can. It absolutely can.
We've done it before.
The Kool-Aid van.
Okay. Yes, my Necrotech van just sort of slams in through the wall. Like, I think maybe I like lift my staff and probably push a little button on it or something to summon it. Boop, boop.
But the children don't notice. They think it's sheer magic.
I mean, they don't care for anything other than blood right now.
It slams in through the wall. I am going to literally gather as many of these little Necromon in my arms as I can, because these are still useful, as I run and jump into the back of the van, and I say, Grumbo!
Yeah.
Gleep George throws himself towards the van. Do you allow him entrance?
Oh, Cleep George. Yes, because that you are the best darn unpaid intern we've ever had.
What about HR?
HR, I feel, has done me a personal wrong.
HR is grabbing onto like the back of the van. He's not even entering. He's like
You're skitching?
riding on the back.
HR knows they won't let him in.
Holding onto the roof. They will understand in time. I have done what is best for the production.
Grumbo hates the limitations from HR, but loves his vibe.
All right, roll me keep your cool. I want to see if you're able to grab them on.
Okay. 5, 7 minus 1 is a 6.
All right, take an AP. You drop half of your Rolodex.
No!
You drop more cards as you fly out.
Oh my, like, I am leaning out the back, frantically flailing to try and grab them, but alas.
Gleep George nearly flies out of the van, attempting also to grab your cards. Because they are the best unpaid intern you've ever had.
It's the announcement break. I have a lot to cover, so let's get going. Thank you again to Hannah and Laura for being just phenomenal guests on this adventure. You can find them in the description, but I'm also going to tell you just right here how to find them. Hannah is making art in Trouble in Baltimore. You can find her at wicked.glint on Instagram, where she posts weird stuff she makes. Meanwhile, Laura is a semi-retired game designer who works at a library these days. You can still get her weird little games at glavegazarm.com or follow her on Blue Sky, where she also goes by glavegazarm.com. If you like the weird mechanics of the Lichy magic of Lara, that's on our Patreon. That's a Patreon exclusive Under the Neighborhood playbook called The Mage. I also just introduced Moves of the Dead, which are mechanical options that you can add to your role-playing Under the Neighborhood experience based on the various types of dead in Hereafter. Finally, if you're a science fiction fan, we have a long-running podcast we think you'd be interested in. Get ready for an otherworldly adventure with Makeshift Stories, a sci-fi, fantasy, and speculative fiction podcast for all ages. So, like our first season, if we didn't like cussing so much. Twice a month, buckle up for a new epic journey through possible futures, space, alternate realities, and beyond. Makeshift Stories is available wherever you listen to audio, or head over to makeshiftstories.com. Tune in and let your imagination soar. That is all I've got for you. Our next adventure is also going to be a 3-parter, Little Mon, Big City. I'm really excited for that one. But if you'd like additional podcasts, video outtakes, or Under the Neighborhood / just general role-playing content, you can find it at patreon.com/questfriends. I'll see you there. The Lich and the Shadow and Gleep George and HR have fled the building. When they've gone, the White Eyes Blue Dragon let out another roar like a don't come back, but has since calmed down and bowed its head to you. Since you caught, or more accurately, formed a mutual bro bond with the White Eyes Blue Dragon, but didn't use it in the confrontation, I'll let you summon it during future adventures at any point by spending 1 AP. And all of the other Mons start poking their little heads out in confusion and curiosity.
Well, I guess this means we have to kind of clean up this mall ourselves now.
I don't think so. It was bad to begin with.
Well, not the mall so much.
Or do you mean the Necromon?
Yeah,
because
I mean
we
the
are definitely
Necromon.
freeing them.
We gotta free the Necromon.
And, good job, Hilda. Or whatever.
Thanks. I mean, I think you were kind of the star of the show with the White Eyes Blue Dragon. That was so cool. You befriended a legendary Mon.
Irene turns red again.
I can't wait to tell Juniper about this.
Irene turns a lot more red and just stares back at the floor. It's actually just an Ultramon.
Yes, that thing.
I would think that as my rival, it would be befitting for you to remember that. And it would also be befitting to not reveal all of our secrets of our training to certain people
But the whole club saw it.
who...
Yeah, you turn over and you see the whole club is just staring at you.
Not the whole club. Not the whole club.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to tell Juniper.
Juniper doesn't need to know everything.
Anyway, I guess we gotta start freeing all these Mon, getting them back to new homes.
Or their original home.
Mm-hmm. That they get to choose now. All right, let's split up into teams, everyone.
I got Hilda!
Was that Walnut?
That was Walnut, yeah. I didn't know you were... Walnut comes up, does a slap on the back too. I didn't know you were holding out on me, Hilda. I thought you were like all done with that duel and stuff.
Well, I mean, kind of. I don't know if I want to duel more, but I still think Necromon are really cool. Maybe a different role in the club. Maybe I can start doing the stuff Ariel used to do now that they are just not hanging around anymore.
You can do it until they're back.
Yeah, that's the plan.
But Hilda, you're supposed to... I think that's a really good idea. Freddy just wraps his arm around Walnut's shoulder and just like nods his head slowly. Yeah, okay, temporarily. Yeah, temporarily a good idea. Anyways, I'm with Hilda.
Irene doesn't say anything else and starts walking off alone to look for Necromon.
Irene, you should join us.
I'm fine.
It'll be fun.
All right, take a GM intrusion. Irene, who are you going to give the other point to?
Are you debating between me or our enemies?
Well, yeah, because, like, when am I ever going to get to award either of them an AP, right?
That's true.
But also
Will they use it against us next time we see them?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yes, we will.
Tom, take my AP.
Sounds good.
All right. You know the thing in rom-coms where people brush into each other and drop all the paperwork and then they have to pick it up and their hands meet in the middle? You round the corner just scooping up cards as you do. You're feeling the ouches real bad right now. Like your head is pounding, your heart is pounding, and you don't even notice as you bump into Juniper and all the cards you picked up scatter to the ground between you. Oh, I'm so sorry about that, Irene.
It's fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I was just doing stuff. So I'll help you pick this up.
No, I'm fine.
I'm sure you can, but like I'll help. Because and she just stares in her little like messenger bag and kind of quietly says, "Looks less suspicious."
While she's staring into her messenger bag, Irene will have scrambled all of the cards into her arms and starts walking away again.
Irene, wait up! Wait, I can use my skillies to catch up with you. And she shoots out little skis that are like ski heelys and just chases after you. Elizabeth and Grumbo.
And Gleep George!
And Gleep George and HR. Your tail is between your legs. Where are you running to?
Oh god, do we have a lair? We must have a studio space of some sort.
We have a P.O. box, which I rent.
So we're hanging out in the parking lot of the post office.
Yeah.
You're hanging out in the alley behind the post office.
Yeah, just in the van.
In the van, yeah.
Or maybe like the two back doors are open and we're like hanging around and it's sort of like an indoor-outdoor living room situation.
The comfortable seats in the back of the van are for Grumbo and Elizabeth. The outside standing is for the technicians.
Gleep George is outside standing in a puddle. They're just hanging out quietly.
What was the original arrangement that we had with that vice principal? Because that went so different than what I was expecting.
Yes, that was, I think we are going to really need to edit the ever-loving heck out of that one to make me look good. Lord, this one might even end up entirely on the cutting room floor, which is a disappointment.
Great George, did you ever turn the camera back on? You know what? The silence is telling me everything.
He puts a hand to his mouth, and then drops it down, and then puts it back up, and then drops it down as the realization slowly dawns on their face.
It's for the best. This is not a day we want on film anyway.
This is true. That being said, Gleep George, you know the arrangements. Go run a lap for your failure. Go, run.
So, I'm trying to figure out if Gleep George would decide to run laps around the post office or whether he would run laps
It's gotta be the
around the van.
It's gotta be the van.
Or whether he would run laps around the puddle.
I think no matter what, Gleep George has like very muscular and defined thighs.
Absolutely. Even more so than the Legay. Is HR just there with like a stopwatch just counting each lap?
Of course.
You parked really close to one of the walls of the alleyway though, so he has to like squeeze behind, and then he'll run, and then he'll squeeze behind.
That's how they learn. It's important.
I believe the footage today will be of great use to us, as long as we can film a suitable ending.
And that's when you hear some laughter. Oh, I don't think they're salvaging any of that.
Grumbo's gonna like hop into like a very like protective fight stance.
Elizabeth reaches into her inner pocket for a card, and there is nothing there, and so she just pulls out a fist.
Oh, how cute! The guest stars think they can tangle with me. Unfortunately, if you took a look at my appearance, which I will not be describing this episode for the sake of some mystery, well, you would see that fist fighting me is quite impossible indeed.
What do you want?
Well, I'm much more interested in what you two want. A lich and a shadow. What an interesting pair. Someone who died from necrotechnology and someone whose soul was unnaturally wrested from their body. My, what I say, those two, well, they go hand in hand, even if, well, we're a bit of a rarity these days.
Grumbo reaches her hand out to Elizabeth Thorne, who is free to slap it away.
Elizabeth Thorne doesn't slap it away, but does sort of set one hand on it and then gently but firmly pushes it down.
A most festive joke, and one that may alleviate some of the pains, but really quite an embarrassing performance, wouldn't you say? Well, you were supposed to have a whole second fight, and yet here with your tail between your legs.
I think they actually did a really good job.
Thank you, Gleep George.
Shush now, Gleep George. You're a guest of a guest star. You don't matter.
I know.
Anyhow, I would say you're quite embarrassed after that affair with those children.
No.
Hardly embarrassed.
Hardly you had their quaking in their little boots before the session, and yet, got absolutely annihilated. That has to be a bit embarrassing.
Mysterious figure, I don't know if you know this, but I have a skill called emotional resilience, and I have advantage on it.
Why, yes, indeed, you do, good Grumbo. A skill in emotional resilience, but unfortunately fighting children is not on either of your character sheets, is it?
It's a natural born talent.
I'm sure. Well, in that case, if you're all set on this, I mean, from what I understand, there are no plans for you to come back, so I don't know how you could even fight the children if you wanted to, but, well, if you don't want my help, I'll go on my way and let you figure out your own.
No, hold up, just one moment. It sounds like you are giving us, you're offering, some assistance in a rematch against those, meddling kids, I suppose I will call them.
I wouldn't necessarily call it a rematch per se, but I would say that, well, I can help you help them get their just desserts. Are you interested?
Maybe.
Yes, I suppose a little bit of vengeance does go down sweet, doesn't it?
Okay, yeah, when she said I'm interested.
Well, in that case, I'll be more than happy to oblige. I'll be on my way. Oh, but wait, I forgot. In order to enact your brilliant revenge, I do have one itsy-beansy, tiny little squiggle of a thing that I do need from you first. Your face.
Which half?
What?
Which half?
What?
Which half of my face?
Oh, which half? Okay, well, now that the episode is over, let me just, rattle through this super quickly. So the thing is, my guess is to use Elizabeth because, she is not a shadow. And you're a shadow, so you only kind of have a face.
Yeah.
I'll take both. If you want to give me both faces, I'll take both. I just need to know which face you're going to give me.
Elizabeth.
Oh no, you can have my face.
Yeah.
It's not my most important.
Okay.
Honestly, half of this is makeup.
Okay, perfect. I have Elizabeth's face, little Lizzie's face.
No, not Lizzie. No, don't you dare.
Okay, Elizabeth. Okay, not Lizzie. Lara doesn't like that, apparently. Now, Grumbo, would you like me to take your face as well?
I can't imagine that you would use it much better than I do.
Well, you'd be surprised the things that I can do.
Okay, do whatever you want.
Okay, cool. I've got Grumbo's face. You still get to keep your face.
Okay, good.
I forgot to make this clear. You do have your face. I just have a copy of it. I also have Rasputin's, and I have Teeth Sonic the Hedgehog, but with the horrifying human teeth. That is a face that I own.
When did you get that?
I got it in a spin-off. It was actually my first appearance, and when this voice became this voice, because originally it was going to be not quite falsetto, but it was going to be high and creepy, but they liked this one so much that I just kept this voice. So not sure if I can use Teeth Sonic, but I will use these. Thank you very much. And that is the session, and I will whiskily wobbly away.